Okay, I think we're going to get started. Thank you to our awesome DJ. And you can feel free to play a little bit of music during our fashion show as well. But that's, yeah, great. Coming up here. So my name is Erinn Morgan. I am the Editor-in-Chief and Editorial Director of Eyecare Business Magazine. Welcome to all you guys, and thanks for joining us. I have my two good friends and co-workers up here on stage. Sheena Taff, who is optician and optical boss at Robertson Brown Opticians in Vancouver, Canada. She is also an ambassador to the industry, and she is a key contributor to our publication, Eyecare Business Magazine, which you can see up here on our trend board, our current March issue. And so thank you, Sheena, for joining us today. It's always fun. Sheena is going to share kind of a real world. We're going to talk about our 5 key trends for spring, and Sheena is going to share a real world kind of how the trends relate to actually fitting them with your patients, who the trends may make sense for in your patient base. So we'll get kind of a really good from the trenches kind of view of the trends. And also our amazing managing editor here, Kerri Ann Raimo, who has pulled together our eyewear for the trends and our trend boards from all of our coverage. We do fashion shoots and kind of trend curation, looking at all. We do a lot of product previews and press previews that we go to. And obviously we get probably about 40 press releases a day that we see new products. And we watch all the fashion shows, well, the runway trend presentations. So that kind of is how we come up and curate our trends, and that's what you'll see here up on the board. These trends are also covered in our March issue, which you can see our cover here on the board so we have even expanded. There's a few more trends on there as well in that issue. So you can check that out online at eyecarebusiness.com. We also have it here around the show for you to pick up if you want a print issue. And Kerri Ann also handles all of our new product coverage in the magazine. So she sees and kind of curates all of those new collections and what we're running in the magazine. And our associate editor, Veronica Daub, is here, and she's got our product under control over there for the fashion show. And so a huge thanks to her for helping to pull that all together, which is no easy feat. She and Kerri Ann pulled that together. And also we have Becca and Sierra and Nelson over here are our models from Wilhelmina Models in New York City, and they will be modeling our eyewear today. So just a quick, I just want to kind of get a sense for who's here in the audience. We always to ask, so could you do me a favor and just raise your hand if you're an optometrist? Awesome. Raise your hand if you're an optician. Lots of opticians. And raise your hand if you're office staff or someone who handles frame buying. Wonderful. Great to see you all here. Thank you for joining us. So one quick takeaway. On Eyecare Business Magazine, we do a tremendous amount of research of our readers. We're constantly surveying eye care professionals across the country to kind of ascertain what are the trends, what are the key business concerns, and that really helps guide our coverage in the magazine. But an interesting thing happened this year in actually the very end of last year in our market trends report. And in the survey, the eye care professionals that answered the survey, which was a large group, ranked frame styling as the most important feature considered when purchasing frames for their optical. And that is the first year that has happened. It has almost always been construction quality was number 1. And now it has shifted to frame styling. And this is even more interesting to me, is that number 2 shifted to price. And quality shifted to number 3. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just really an interesting takeaway that kind of folks ranked fashion, styling, and then price, and then quality and construction as the third. So anyway, we are going to get started here with our trends presentation. And as you can see, our first trend is wild prints and patterns. So I think we could go ahead and start with our modeling. And feel free to start the music too. Thank you. So this is one of my favorite trends. It's wild printed patterns. That's pretty self-explanatory, but we have seen really cool prints and different kinds of patterns. You know, obviously, as you can see coming around, she is modeling an animal print frame that is cool. And you can see really cool patterns on this one as well. Kerri Ann, I'll let you kind of share what the different frames are that they're seeing right now.
Hello. Yeah, so she's wearing a Dolce & Gabbana cheetah print frame, which is awesome. Thank you, Sierra. And then we have a Victor Glamaud Optical and this awesome LA Eyeworks frame that's actually in our fashion feature on the trend board as well. So as you can see, Sheena, you can kind of talk a little bit about the styling and how this works. We're so happy to see that this works for men as well, which I really love.
It does. It's absolutely a trend that you can use to kind of segue your traditional tortoiseshell wears into something that has a little bit more depth dimension with these patterns. They add personality to a more classic frame design, and it's incredibly easy to bring them in. You put them on your, and they're kind of a discussion piece. Patients get really excited to try them on, and I mean, most people have at least one piece of leopard print in their closet, so why not have a leopard print eyewear too?
Definitely. And one thing that you can see, well, actually can't see it on our, well, now you can see it on a trend boards. Thank you for that. Is the frame that is all the way to the left on the bottom. That is a Gucci frame, and this kind of mixed media is what we've been seeing some of that is really cool and really unique. So that frame has kind of an animal print on it with kind of an overlay of another pattern, and then it has these giant crystals on it too. So a lot going on the frame, which makes it really interesting. Yours kind of has, you know, some really cool stuff going on. What are you wearing, Sheena?
I'm wearing Gigi.
Nice.
I'm actually at the show this year, so Gigi Studios.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, so this is kind of probably cross-generational trend as well. Like a lot of different folks can wear it.
I absolutely agree. I think that wild patterns and prints in frames actually give you a huge opportunity to talk about the craftsmanship, because they're typically not one-dimensional frames. They're layered acetates. This frame is a great example that has a combination of a zebra print, a little bit of a gold hardware, as well as a red temple. So they've really mixed kind of different patterns and textures together. And so that's great for opticians for the storytelling element of things, which helps to kind of elevate the overall styling experience.
Definitely. And I think this one that she's wearing is the LA Eyeworks,
Yes,
right?
that's it.
We have LA Eyeworks in the house.
Yes.
Thank you, Brent.
And I love how you can double dip with this. You can either do, like, your outfit can be wild prints too, and it still doesn't look too much. But if you're just easing your way into it, then even just a frame as a pop of print.
Definitely. And that LA Eyeworks frame is up on our trend board as well, with the kind of far right picture with the blonde model. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next trend, which is Shield Me. And we're seeing a lot of this kind of sports influence, performance influence, kind of wrap, kind of, as you can see, some of these are really high base curves, big wraps, and some of them are a little more wearable, like more of a fashion wrap. Kerri Ann, what frames will we see in this trend?
Yes, right now she has on a Nike iridescent shield from Marchand, and it has this like sweeping wraparound design and this minimalist top bar. And I would say this one is a little bit more on the kind of sportier side, but it starts to dip into more of that fashion shield that we'll see on the trend board and that we'll see coming down from the models as well. And this is a Montclair shield from Marchand or from Marcolin, and it has this 3D construct, and we're going to get a little bit more into that fashion shield element with the Versace shield as well.
That's what she's coming around in next. Okay, very cool frame. So Sheena, is this is definitely a unisex trend, right? Men or women could wear that for sure.
This is definitely sex trend. And while kind of the optician side of me, gets a little bit antsy about these kind of frame styles because they're not very RX friendly, this is a trend that we are seeing a ton in street style as well as athletes. So you turn on any baseball game, a lot of press events with athletes, and they are wearing these incredibly bold, mirrored, oversized shield sunglasses. And so when your consumers are seeing that in mainstream media, you need to have them on your frame board, and it will absolutely entice plano lens wearers or patients to wear contact lenses with this kind of style over top. So although it may not seem like a trend that would work in your optical, I think it's absolutely an opportunity to grow a different sector of your sports eyewear.
Fantastic. So, and Kerri Ann, I think this was on your runway trends report as well. Did you see a lot of these on the runway?
Yes, I think that they are like I said, as you're moving on from out of that kind of sports shield, people are really embracing it as a fashion element, such as the Versace one. There's big Versace branding on the shield that she's wearing. I think it's a big opportunity to kind of have those patients that may want more of a fashion branded element as opposed to just that standard sports shield that people are used to.
I think that sunglasses, especially designer sunglasses, are often the gateway for a lot of people. They tend to be that really luxury branded product that is the most kind of accessible price point. So pieces like this, they are absolute showstoppers, and patients will spend the money to have that designer brand name and that touch on that luxury brand.
Wonderful. All right, on to our next trend. Thank you. So red rules. This is kind of self-explanatory, but we had been seeing a lot of red coming out in frames. I know Kerri Ann, and she does kind of a runway report lookbook in Eyecare Business in our show issues in March and September, and that showed up quite on the runway. And then we really saw a lot of it in the new products and the new collections that we were seeing coming out for spring. So
yes, so right now she has on a Tom Ford optical style from Marcelin, and that kind of translates also to the runway as well. You'll see a ton of red even in eyewear and fashion. And I love that Pantone touched on this color as well. It was their spring summer palette. One of their colors of this season was that fiery red that's in the corner on the trend board.
nice.
I think red glasses are so iconic. I mean, we can all name a few celebrities that wear only red glasses. And I mean, you probably have clients in your optical that naturally gravitate that signature red frame. And something that I love about the Tom Ford, you'll probably notice, is picking up another trend we're seeing in eyewear, which is a really thick beveled side. And so what's great about that is when you have your higher myope patients, it does a lot to hide edge thickness so they can embrace a larger frame style. It's a great, great trend that's both fashion and function all in one.
I love the gold hardware on that Ferragamo that Nelson is wearing. It just, I think gold and red together, it's just amazing. You're rocking
beautiful.
it, Sheena. The red lip and some gold accessories.
I know, totally. And as you can see, a lot of the reds that are coming around are like fire engine red. You know, you're seeing a lot of kind of deeper reds, darker reds, things that can more easily be worn by a variety of different folks, for sure.
I think touching on the Ferragamo frame as well, I mean, when you look at it on the surface, I think their shapes in men's sunglasses in particular are shifting, and frames that, may be considered a slightly more feminine silhouette, a little bit more lift, bordering on a cat's eye, are now absolutely being adopted by male wearers. So I think it's a great opportunity to kind of have more unisex frame sun styles. Like, this looks fantastic.
I know, it looks
So
so
good.
great. Very cool. So our next trend is bling uninterrupted. We have, as you could see from that first Gucci frame that I was talking about with the mixed media, big, huge crystals. We're seeing it on the runways. We're seeing it on celebs. We're seeing it at events and different fashion, all the fashion week that just happened. Everybody's wearing crystals and sequins and for day, just not an evening only situation anymore. And we've been seeing this in eyewear for several seasons now, which is why we call the trend uninterrupted. But it keeps going, and I think it's really, really relevant. And there might be some kind of a joy or celebration kind of element to it, which is, I think, why it's being embraced. So it is a really trend, as you can see here. Lots of bling on eyewear right now. So what frames are we seeing here?
So right
Kerri?
now she has on a Tiffany & Co. sunglass that's inspired by their gemological heritage. And it's not really a crystal per se. It's kind of a gold detailing that's dimensional and eye-catching for the wearer. And then he has on a Lanvin gold roped sun. It's like inspired by rope detailing, and it's just awesome with it. I know. She's like, I love that. They're awesome. And I just love too that even in the runway for men, you could see like with accessories, they're really men's jewelry and men's bling is such a thing right now. And I love that they're racing it. And I so agree with you, Erinn, that it might be kind of a joyous celebration element. People are ready to kind of break out their bling.
I think all of these frame styles and sun styles are such a great way to look at bling. It doesn't have to be crystals in a frame. It can be an iridescence in a frame. It can be a mirror in a frame. The beautiful faceted design of the Tiffany frame is absolutely stunning. It looks like a gem. It looks like bling, but it's not in its like really most kind of simple form. So when we look at bringing in frames, we often think, well, maybe I don't have the clientele for a bedazzled frame, but you might be surprised at interpreting bling in different ways, in shimmer, in iridescence, in metallics. There's lots of really great ways that you can add bling to your board.
That's great. And clearly, with what Nelson's wearing, it's unisex. So it can bling for all.
And that frame would look amazing as an ophthalmic as well. So
It
using
really would,
sun
actually.
styles and adding your own flair as an optician is a great skill set.
Very cool idea, for sure. Okay. And now on to, we're going to model one more of these, and then on to our, here we go. Our last trend is called Leisurely Luxe. And so this is something that we've been kind of seeing with a lot of the new collections coming out. It's kind of, bling light, but it's really this kind of luxury feeling, but it's not over the top. It's much more classic. It's much more sophisticated, much more streamlined, a lot of kind of classic colors and shapes and styles. So what frames are we seeing here?
So right now she has on a Poochie Sun from Marklin, and it has this color block detail with the geometric silhouette. And consumers who may want to have that logo detailing, but more in an elevated way, it's just like a little bit visible on the temple. And I think that this trend I'm so excited for as I'm walking around the show and want like my sneakers on, you want your sweats, you're seeing it so much on the runway. It's this leisure elevated, and I think everyone is excited about that.
Definitely. So this is a very wearable trend, right, for most patients.
Absolutely. This is a trend that you can bring into your optical, but also using these terms to kind of elevate and go back to storytelling when you're offering your patients optical styling. So using some of these terms that the magazine provides are things that you can use in your regular dispensing in order to elevate the frames that you already have.
For sure. And I want to just touch on this Avatic optical as well, because it's super lightweight. It goes into that leisurely, comfortable feel. And then she has on a fish optical as well with a slight cat eye. So it adds that a little bit of luxury flair, but without being too over the top.
Awesome. And did we talk about that one?
Those are the Poochie Suns, and they have that bit of a logo on the side as well.
Love the little, it's almost like a just overlay there on the side with the color. And we have been seeing, yes, we called out red, but we've been seeing a lot of really cool colors. And I've been seeing kind of a lot of, as you mentioned, iridescent, a lot of even gradient kind of frames, and seeing a lot of translucence looks throughout, different collections that we're seeing, almost more of a smoky, kind of a matte translucence. And I think we've been seeing a lot of green, right, Kerri Ann, in terms of color as well.
Yes, and I love that, especially for today.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Are you seeing and selling a lot of color?
I think what we need to remember is we are in an environment where we see everything first, and our patients can be a little slower to adapt to different trends and styles because they haven't necessarily seen them as much. But right now, I feel that the translucent, I call them watercolors, aren't going anywhere. People are absolutely gravitating towards, translucents, blush, pinks. And then you have the bolder clientele that were early adapters of that, 2 years ago. They're ready for their next set of eyewear, and they're going into bolder colors. Still in a translucent, so they're not really like thick and heavy, but really, really bold colors. And you have some perfect examples of that up in the front row.
And we are definitely have been seeing a lot of that watercolor, kind of appearance. That was kind of part of our prints and patterns, what we've been showing in the magazine as well. So that, I think, is a really cool, very wearable look for a lot of folks.
It's very soft, and for those people that maybe want a chunkier, bolder acetate frame, it gives them the opportunity to have that without feeling it's a step too far outside their comfort zone.
Fantastic. So those are our trends. And if you folks, and I forgot to mention, we are actually live streaming here with our amazing live stream team of the Eyecare Business live stream cart rolling around the show. So stay tuned on our social channels. We are going to be live streaming throughout today and all day tomorrow from events. And we have fantastic interviews, interviewing Jason Romero tomorrow, the keynote speaker here. So we've got a huge lineup of live streams on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our LinkedIn live streaming simultaneously there. So this presentation has been live streamed to our social channels. So if you want to share it with your staff or your opticians or your optometrist, feel free to get on there, grab the link, and share it, or share it to your own social channels as well. And please continue to log in and check out our other live streams throughout the show. So we also have these trend boards available. If anyone would like to have them emailed in PDF form for use in your own practice, please come on up, give us your card, we'll mail it out. Or if you have any questions, feel free to come on up after the fact. You guys, anything I missed or anything you want to add?
No, I just think that's perfect because I always send out these trend boards to people, and even if you want to share them on social. And just like you said, I think we see the trends earlier, and it's easy for us to say, but to share it and kind of see it brought to life is really helpful.
I think this is such a great way to kick off Expo Day 1, because now these trends have been kind of planted. The seeds have been planted in your head. And when you go out and you look at different frames, I think you're really going to start to kind of resonate and pull out those characteristics out of the frames that you're selecting. And then when you go back to your optical, you can tell these stories. You can showcase the frames. Patients absolutely love and get excited about new products and trends, and let it be contagious.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us. Again, feel free to come up and give us your card if you'd like the trend boards or if you have a question. And we'll see you around the show. Wishing everybody a great show.